Morning, guys. Well, you're on the People Station, WSTI Star 105.3. We're talking about the giants that come up in our lives. Sometimes it's a giant of poverty. Sometimes it's a giant of depression and despair. Sometimes it's a giant of failed relationships. Sometimes it's a giant that presents us with an absence of knowledge. He steals our heritage, our music, our poetry, our dance, our history, our culture, our language. Sometimes that giant can be arthritis, depending on what your situation is. Sometimes that giant can be suffering from sinus problems as we make our way through life here in South Georgia. That giant comes in various disguises. But somebody wrote that if we put on the whole armor of God, we'd be able to stand. And having done all to stand, we were commanded to stand therefore. And we're talking about waking up that sleeping giant that is among us here in Valdosta and Lowndes County. And in encouraging you to do that, I want to remind you that the children of Israel sent some spies to a land to spy out the land. And when they all came back, all except for two, spoke out of fear. They said, those are giants in the land, and compared to them, we look like grasshoppers. But there was a valiant man in the group, and his name was Caleb, and he said, not so. Let's go and possess the land. And then his partner named Joshua spoke up and said, how about that? Let's go and possess the land and not anger God, because if we anger God and refuse to do his will, he will truly punish us. It's Sunday Morning Gospel on the People Station, WSTI. We are Star 105.3. Pastor Rose, we know you've got to go. Close us out with some comments.
Let me say this. You know, in the black church, we always say God's going to take care of it. But let me just say this, and I hope you never forget it. God came down here one time, and that's when he blew breath in the nostrils of Adam, and he became a living soul. He hasn't been back down here since. Now, when he wanted to free the Jews from Egyptian bondage, he didn't go, he sent Moses. When he wanted somebody to sit down on that bus and change forever the course of American history and reorder the priorities of a nation, he sent Rosa Parks. When he wanted somebody to remove the sign right outside of City Council here in Valdosta that said that the mayor and the council shall make all appropriate laws to control slaves and freemen of colors, he didn't come down. He sent George Rhymes. When he wanted somebody to lead this nation out of its throes of segregation, he didn't come. He sent Martin Luther King. What I'm saying is that you've got to become the vessel that he uses and understand that. When he needed somebody to talk that talk on the radio, he didn't come down here. He sent Lee Henderson. And I got to get out of here.
I thank you, sir. You have a blessed day. It's Sunday Morning Gospel on the People Station, WSTI Star 105.3. And I would give you this. While hanging on Calvary's cross, the Son of God lifted his head towards heaven. And he said 3 words. It is finished. And the Bible says that he hung his head. He said, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. And he died. Now the onus is on us. The responsibility is on us. We are, in fact, the majority. There is a new legislative district that has been drawn here in Lowndes County. It's district number 177. And State Representative Ellis Black, speaking to me on the radio, said, if you're not careful, you're going to wake up in a situation whereby a majority black district will be governed in the legislature by somebody that does not look like the majority in that district. We have seen that with State Representative Amy Carter. We have seen that with representatives on the City Council. It's time to make that change. How do we know that? Because we are indeed sleeping giants, and all we have to do is just wake up. It's Sunday morning gospel. You're on the People Station, WSTI, Star 105.3. Again, we thank God and we thank you. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we are going to give a listen to one of the most active residents in the city of Valdosta and Lowndes County. We're going to give a listen to the blogger, the activist, George Boston Grimes. And I want you to remember something this morning as we come to you live from the studios of Star 105.3. Down through the years, it was not the mayor, it was not the city council, it was not the chairman of the county commission, nor the commission itself. It was not our legislative delegation. It was not the Congress and the Senate. It was not the President of the United States or any organizations in between. It was God that was so good to us. Don't move. We'll be right back.